Yeah. You already know what it is, man. It's the TheYellowCord podcast, episode 10. You already know what's going on, man. Listen, it was raining outside. The equipment was in the middle of the basketball court. Am I lying?
Definitely was.
And you called me on the phone, was like, yo, what we doing? And what I told you.
We still on.
I'm out here. I'm out here.
We still on.
So I'm gonna tell you something. When I really want something, I make it happen. Rain, sleet, or fucking snow, I'm gonna make it happen. If I gotta walk to my destination, I'm gonna make it happen. If I gotta ask somebody for a ride, I'm gonna make it happen, regardless of what the shit is gonna go down, because I wanted it to.
Shit like that.
The prime word for that is dedication. And either you have it or you don't. I got the man right here. Probably one of the most intimidating trainers in the 717 area. You could talk on that, John, bro?
Yeah.
You can hear yourself?
Yep.
Nah, I don't think you can hear yourself, bro. Let's get you right.
Let me see. I can hear me.
No, we can't hear you. Hold
Can't hear
on.
it?
You can hear yourself?
Yeah.
Like you could hear you talking?
Yeah, I can hear me talk.
Damn, hold on. Wait a minute.
It's not working over there.
Try it now.
You hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Straight?
Yeah, we straight. Technical difficulty. But right back, man. This is episode 10, TheYellowCord podcast. I'm your host, That Yellow Poppy. If you haven't followed, please hit the link down below. Follow, like, subscribe, share. It doesn't cost to show a person love. And if you just hating behind the screen, you ain't stopping nothing, because when you got somebody that got motion, you can't stop that person with motion. You feel me?
Facts. Talking your talk.
That's how we gonna do it. But right back to what I was talking about, I got one of the most influential, intimidating, honorable, honest, ambitious, dedicated, self-disciplined trainers in the 717 area, man. Y'all go ahead and give it up for my boy Johnnie Martin, a.k.a. Unleash.
Appreciate y'all.
All right.
Appreciate you, Joe.
Yeah, nah, I appreciate you, man. Like you said earlier, man, just because it rains don't mean that the sun stops shining. Once we set up, the sun is shining lovely right now. Shining lovely. But before I get to you, bro, right? I got a couple bills I got to pay. You know, the promo been buzzing. You know, the views been up. So shout out everybody that has been sharing, that has been showing a lot of love on this platform. This is a platform where we could give local entrepreneurs, local businesses that don't have those type of connections to broadcast what they're doing. All right, we're here to help one another out. All right. And like I said earlier, if you're not going to contribute to that, sit back and enjoy the show, because the show's going to keep on going. So first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to House of Gains, man. Lord of the Gains over there on Plaza Boulevard next to Infinito's Pizza, next to Crunch Gym, all right? They got the shake of the month, bro. When I tell you peaches and cream, go in there, get the shake of the month. Extra scoop is $1. You see what I'm saying? Get your macros in, and it doesn't even taste like you drinking a protein shake, bro. I promise you. I promise you. Go ahead, man. Tell them that Poppy sent you. There's a QR code on the cup. You go ahead, you scan that cup. I don't know what might happen. You might get a discount. You might get sent to a merch site. I don't know. But go ahead and scan that. Another person I want to go ahead and give a shout out to is Planet Fitness on Lidditz Pike. Hold on. Wrong button. Planet Fitness on Lidditz Pike, located across the street from Giant. Listen, if you're in a spot where you're just getting started to working out and you just don't want that environment of people just looking at you and thinking that you don't know what you're doing out in the gym, man, it's a judge-free zone. They have a lunk alarm or alarm for you heavy juicer lifters, Olympians or whatever. That's what they call them, bro. Whatever, heavy body. Yeah, them power lifters. You going in there, you slamming it on. Don't do that there. You making everybody intimidated with all that. For what? Go to the wire crunch for all that. You see what I'm saying? But shout out to Planet Fitness located over there. They're building they're actually renovating the Planet Fitness on Millersville Pike, 1349. They're making it bigger, so everybody that went from that gym is going to the one on Lidditz Pike. In the meantime, I'm pretty sure they got deals right now. So please hit up your local Planet Fitness if you're just looking to get started, whether it's cardio, whether it's lifting, whether you just want to get out and just relieve some stress. Hit the gym. It's a wonderful, wonderful how you say it, therapy session just to release some anger, release some stress, and to get your body right, man. Another person I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to is my boy who started his clothing line, man, Hell on Earth Lab. I want y'all to go ahead, follow that down below. All right, he's been doing his thing with the clothing. We was out here last week, bro, no bullshit, footwork, giving everybody shirts, giving everybody deals, and sometimes you got to do that. You got to go and touch the people. You see what I'm saying? So that's what he did. Shout out to you, bro. I told you I got you. Another person I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to, man, is Unleash, man. I'm going to give a shout out to Unleash. He's here. He got the shirt. If you're looking for sports, conditioning, speed, you know, just overall getting your movement right when it comes to lifting, when it comes to running and all that, hit my man up right here, Johnnie Martin. Ranges from what ages, bro?
We do it all, anywhere from six to professional.
Look at that, 6 all the way up to collegiate level, even to if you're an adult who's semi-pro, about to go pro, he does it all. Can you tell him your rates, bro? Close to the mic.
It's a monthly deal, so you know you commit yourself to a month. I want to say the cheapest for athletes is like $250. Come 5-6 times a week. Regular person, I want to say $150. Unlimited, come as many as you want. Meal plan, the whole 9. We do it all.
All right, so you already heard him first. Also, he be having the merch in, so if you want some clothes that you want to sweat in, just you don't care for, you want to put that work in, he got the dry fit shirts. He actually got one on right now. Hoodies, when it's wintertime, he got that for you. If you're trying to lose weight, them thick dry fit hoodies, I got a couple. Yep. I actually got the one that says results is greater than excuses. I always rock that joint. Another thing, too, he sells shakes. He sometimes sell sea moss, and if he doesn't have the sea moss in, he has somebody that's plugged in with the sea moss, located over there at the warehouse across the street from ABG Team Beast Mode. Shout out Chag. Chag, what's up? I haven't been here in a while. We're going to get your interview, but, bro, back to you. What's good, Brody? Talk to me.
What's up, baby? How you doing?
What's
good,
up, man?
Appreciate
Good, man. Make sure that make sure that the mic is up.
What we said? We said 500 followers. I'll be on this joint.
Yeah,
man.
yes,
made
you
it
did.
Happen, so I'm here.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I needed that motivation.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. A lot of people wasn't seeing the vision at first, and what's crazy about it is that when it comes to people, they won't listen to you until the result is being shown, and then they want to ride the wave. Yep. You see what I'm saying? Like you should have had that. You should have had that confidence, had that hope, support in me before anything even happened. But you sat there and you waited. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with knowing. There's nothing wrong with asking questions and trying to figure out how you get started. But when you're one of those that be doubting at first, and then all of a sudden you start buzzing, and then they want to ride a wave, like Meek Mill said, Drake said, ever since I got famous, I gained an enemy or a cousin. That's that type of wave, that type of energy that you be getting when it comes to that.
They also doubt themselves, too. That's why they doubt you, because they doubt themselves.
You know what I'm saying?
You believe in yourself, people probably believe in you. That's how it go.
Yeah.
Feel me? I believe you was going to blow up.
Oh, absolutely. You shouted it out.
Yeah,
you shouted it out. I ain't even going to lie to you.
Go get it.
I ain't going to lie to you. You was like, yo, bro, you get 500. You get 100 subs or whatever, hit me, and we here. I did the footwork. I had to go put it in. But on this episode, bro, we're going to go ahead and talk about from the beginning to where you at now, because a lot of people don't know that me and you actually was around the same area from a young boy or from probably like 12, 13 years old. Around the ward. If you can't see the background, man, we at the ward, man. The ward. Every weekend, every day, after school, whatever, they used to come down here. They used to ball. All right, and if y'all know the people that was normally down here, you can name them. I can name them.
Hey, we can name them. Shout out to the 6th Ward Squad.
You see what I'm saying? And the youngins too that are so-called gangsters now. We knew you was coming to 6th Ward before that. I don't want no problems. You know how the YNs. I don't want no problems with the YNs, but we know you used to come down here at the ward and play ball with us. We're just trying to guide y'all down the right path. That's it. So, bro, for those that don't know why we call you Buddy, All right, let them know
Yeah,
why the nickname or how the nickname
yeah,
originated.
You know, a lot of people, you know, you gotta grow up with me in the inner city. You had to been there since I was a young boy to know that a lot of people refer to me as Buddy. You know what I mean? My main name Johnnie, so you know I got a name so they know Johnny. So they're like, oh, you mean Buddy? And people that know me, they be like, yeah, Buddy, and they be like, oh, I just know him as Johnny. You know what I mean? So you know, Buddy, I've been had the name Buddy. It's from my family name. I think my little brother was trying to say baby, and he kept saying Buddy. So you know, they just kept calling me Buddy. But yeah, that's like my city day one name. If you grew up with me in the city, you know my name Buddy. But you know, outside of that is Johnny. And you can only call me Buddy if you grew up with me for real.
Right. So for the ones that grew up around them, me, Miles, Mario, Tyler, Sammy, Go, Vic, Alex. I could name everybody.
Facts.
You know, see what I'm saying?
Facts.
So tell me a little bit of how you guys ended up on Jefferson Street.
So we was
On the
was
alley, because I used to stay on Hand Ave when I first
Yeah.
came down here, and they used to run around and all that. And my mom and pops knew that area wasn't a safe area at the time. A lot of people trapping, a lot of people outside doing reckless things, and you know, that was just our environment at the time, and we just ended up finding fun out of it, but being able to avoid interacting in those transactions or whatever. So how did you end up going to Jefferson and then, you know, branching over?
Over by Crystal Park, over by Captain Gus. So we was over there first, and we moved down to it was worse over there for real. By Crystal Park area, it's worse over there. So
By King Street.
Yeah, so mom was like, we about to go down you know, Jefferson Alley. So we moved over there. First day I moved in, bro, Ty came down, knocking the door.
Out of nowhere though, like
nowhere, bro.
He don't even know you.
He seen me moving on the alley. It was his block. You know what I mean? So he was like, who's this young boy on the block?
Where Hoyt was staying at? Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out Uncle Hoyt. If you know who's Uncle Hoyt, he just actually came out, man. He back around. You might catch him at karaoke. Shout out Uncle Hoyt.
Yeah. So yeah, bro. So Ty seen me. Seen another kid on the block. He was probably waiting and shit. Came down, knocked on the door, and was like, hey, can I play with your son? And my mom was like, yeah, like, you mean, go ahead. So that's how I met Ty for first day. Moved on the block, and we've been friends ever since, bro. It's like my day one right hand. Yeah, I mean, it was a better situation we was at, because we first lived in the Berg, then we moved down to Lank when I was like 7, 8.
Oh, so I never knew you stood in Harrisburg.
Yeah, so we was in the Berg till I was like, what, 5, 6. Then we moved down to Lank. I was about 6, 7. Was on Marietta Ave, and then went down to Jefferson. I was probably, what, like 9, 10?
Yeah.
And then stayed there until I was left, about 13 years old, probably the 7th grade Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was about it. And then, you know, like Joey said, Jefferson Alley, that joint was like, crack alley.
So his block, for y'all, just to give y'all a vision, where I stayed at was in between Plum and Frederick. Or I'm lying, Plum and Shipping. There's a little alley in between, Olive Street. Also intersected that. He was the following alley, Jefferson, that was between Shipping and Lime Street. So it was funny as shit because his crib actually, he had the little basement side door joint, and it was a board. It wasn't a door or nothing. It was a board. So niggas used to play manhunt, or people used to play manhunt, and they used to hide under there. And I didn't know that it was a step to go down. I'm just thinking it's a part of the sidewalk, but it's a legit board that you would lift up and go under to go through the alley to go to the backyard and all that. But yeah. So you ended up being with Ty, ended up being around. You know, once you started moving outside of the block is when you ran into like the Alex and the Marios. The Padilla sisters, Tasha, Ashley. I think Geneva was staying on Plum Street as well.
All them.
You know, the whole Miles was on Clay Street. So it was a big radius of kids around that time.
I remember Big Chris, he was at the corner right there. Chris and the twins, Shade and Sade.
Yeah. I remember that.
All there. We was loaded, bro. We was stacked.
Yeah, Skinny.
Yep, Skinny was there.
Skinny used to be around. Now, in our area, there was a common house. There was a lovely lady who she wanted the kids to do good, and, you know, she opened her home to everybody. She was actually the pastor at that church. Shout out Miss Pastor. I'm going to go ahead and ring the horn for that one. Miss Pastor looked out in times where some of the kids weren't fortunate enough to, you know, have a meal at home or have somewhere to play or do homework and stuff like that. She had the basketball court outside. She had them chicken patties on lock. That fridge was flooded. If you was hungry, you was eating oodles and noodles, or you was eating them damn chicken patties. And she used to walk. You remember that, bro?
Yeah,
We used to walk in, and she'll be on that laptop
Yeah.
playing all her games with her dog or whatever.
Yeah, she was with solitude and all that, bro.
Yeah, solitary and
Miss,
all that.
Bro, Pastor was a blessing, bro. She saved a lot of our lives, bro. You know what I mean? She saved a lot of our lives, bro. Kept us something to do. That was the meetup spot. All the bikes was there. We drive around. Where everybody at? Oh, bet all the bikes had pastors. Feel me? Bro, you know, kept us off the street, kept us busy, kept us doing something, kept us around each other.
Yeah.
Feel me? It was like Pastor saved shit my life. I know a lot of the other guys there that was.
Yeah,
She cared. She walk us home, drive us home, give us food,
actually,
give us money, have a place to stay. Like, ain't people nowadays ain't doing that, bro. She's different.
Yeah, a lot of people now, comparing back in the day till now, a lot of people will post something before actually do something. Miss Pastor was actually one of those people that she actually did for the community, and everything was word to mouth. So that's how I found out that they did summer camps. Mount Gretna Glen. 2 weeks, go there with a duffel and all that, and you know, she was just to get out of the city. And you know, our parents at that time definitely would say just for us to escape that environment that we was in. You see what I'm saying? Now, talking about the environment and all that, when did you find out that you had a gift or that love for football? As far as you know, because we're running around, we're playing manhunt, we're doing an all tackle one or whatever. How did you end up being like, yo, I need to go ahead and apply this joint on the football thing and then excel from there?
Yeah, honestly, my dad, bro. My dad got me when I was a young boy. Like, what was I, first grade? At Fulton Elementary, bro. He had me before school started running sprints. You know what I mean? Just telling me, like, yo, this is what it takes, son, to be the best. You know, I'm 7'8", bro. I hated it. You know what I mean? What the hell we doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, come on, Dad, we ain't doing this. But now I'm 31, and I realized, like, yo, that's you know what I mean? That's what I needed. You know what I mean? So,
a little push.
Yeah, he needed that push. So my dad installed all that work ethic, be the best, the whole nine. You know, I want to emulate him. You know what I mean? Then we running around the city playing manhunt. You know, I'm fastest in the city. You know, I'm fastest young boy around here. So, you know, that giving me confidence. You know, just that fear, bro. And no fear. And then, you know, we're on the field, D team, 8 years old.
Tornadoes.
Yeah,
Sertoma.
Yeah.
Shout out everybody that was on the D team.
Full speed, just no fear, running into people, bro. Like,
I tried playing football for Junior Tornadoes once, and let me tell you, Maribel Dixon, I know you watching this joint. You started before me. I'll keep it in the whole block.
And she lasted longer.
Bro, but back in the day, I was only like 80 pounds, bro. So how you gonna put me on the line just for me to get playing time? You put me on the line. They got Maribel, who's thicker than a Snicker, out there playing before me. But she was like that. She was like one of the tomboys that liked the, you know what I'm saying? Liked the rough activities and all that. Who else was on that team? I think damn, who else was on? Charlie Brown. Brown was on that team. Jabe was on that team. I could name a couple other heads that was on that team that I remember. But yeah, that's the most humiliating thing that I remember was Maribel starting over me.
Joey was trying to play just because we all played in the
So I'm gonna go ahead and give her a round of applause on that. Hey, it is what it is, girl. You ain't doing that shit to me right now, though. I'm big now. Feel me? Feel me? But anyway, so you ended up playing for the Tornadoes.
Yeah.
Did the coaches automatically seen like, oh yeah, he has a gift?
Yeah, I did the coaches seen. You know, Coach Owens. Shout out Coach Owens, man.
I remember Coach Owens.
Coach Owens knew I had a gift because I was a young boy. He was telling me, like, yo, you gonna be the truth, youngin, and just stay with it, man. I just remember those convos. Who else? Julio, his family. Deontay, his pops. You know, people that was good around the area, bro. Just, you know, just encouraging the young bulls to stay with it, stay around because they seen the potential.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think just, you know, just the old heads and the older people that we looked up to just pouring back in like, yo, young boy, you going to be nice, like, stay with it. You know, that keep a young bull wanting to keep going with it. So I think that was a lot of it. And just growing up in the inner city, bro, just, you know, creating that dog mentality, you know, manhunt, fighting, football, no pads, all tackle one. You know, just creates a mindset, bro, to that you're not scared of nothing.
Right.
I mean, in football, you got to have that mindset. So I think it helped me out to not be scared of nothing, no contact, no hits, no confrontation, none of that. You know what I mean? So definitely growing up on Jefferson and in the inner city, you know, I would say helped me in my mentality and taking into football.
Now, growing up in the inner cities, right, it's not common where a household have both a mother and a father.
Yeah, 100%.
You was fortunate enough to have that growing up, you know what I'm saying? And you have siblings. Shout out to Toot, shout out to Kia, shout out to your brother and all that. When it came to establishing authority, did you feel as though like your dad was the dude that was front line all the time?
My dad was an alpha. You know, my dad was know how to be a leader. My mom played her role too. It wasn't like how it is now, where you know
the mom don't do nothing. They're sitting down. The guy got to do everything.
Yeah. Or just the woman thinking that she gonna be the leader. You know, my mom knew her role. My dad knew his role, and I think they played that joint perfectly. You know what I mean? Especially growing up, I knew who was the leader, who was an authority, and I knew who I gotta respect and speak nice to. You know what I mean? So my dad had that authoritative, disciplined mind. He was old school. You know what I mean? And my mom, she was there. She was a supporter. My mom was just backing everything that we wanted.
So she was like a traditional housewife.
Yeah, exactly.
Took care of the crib, make sure everybody was fed, do your homework, bathe, whatever. Weekends came, you could do whatever the hell you want, but make sure you're at the house at a certain time or whatever, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, when there was times where your pops wasn't around because of work or whatever the situation was, your mom had to step up and be the authority at that moment, right?
Well, it was flip flop. So my mom would work later. My dad was off at like 4 or 5
in the morning.
At night.
Oh,
so
okay.
my mom would work late night, serve tables and shit. She was a waitress.
Okay.
And my pops was a chef. So
shout out my Dukes, by the way.
I want to say my dad was off work around like 4 or 5, so he'd come home. My mom would take off work around like that time. You know what I mean? So my dad was the one cooking dinner and making sure we was cool. My mom was the one at work.
Okay. And what your dad do?
Chef. He was a chef.
He was a chef.
Yeah.
What restaurant was he a chef at?
Well, he was at Cameron Estate Inn, and then he was at the Steamboat.
Oh, okay. Oh, the boat over there by, okay.
Yeah,
past Waffle House.
Yep.
All right, I got you.
He was at a few little spots.
Pick up the mic a little bit, though.
He was at a few spots.
Yeah, you want to sound like that. All right. Just pull it. Yeah, right there. Yep. Keep it at that level if you can. Yeah, just rush your elbow. You good right there. So when it came to school, right? Because we all know that you need the academics in order for you to play football and all that. Was there any time where you was slipping at all because you was caught up in that environment of who you was around and all that?
Yeah. We ain't really. My pops was old school, so he was like, "Yo, you ball out, they're gonna find you." So I ain't really take too much matters in my hair about caring about grades. I just know I had to get good grades to play football. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like make sure you get good grades because you need them to go to college or you need them to be successful in life. It wasn't ever like that was never like told to us. You know what I mean? It was just like make sure you get good grades because you gotta play football. So I was cool with like getting a C and a B. I wasn't trying to be like,
you wasn't trying to excel,
be
the studious, smartest one in the class. As long as you pass the average, you like, as long as I can play, there's nothing that they could
100%,
say.
100%. That's not a good mindset to have, but that's just how we was, how we raised and grew up. But I was more worried about trying to go to the league and NFL and excel in sports, and not excel in the classroom. You know what I mean? And that ended up messing me up when I got into high school because them habits that you had, shit carried over. I had bad grades, wasn't eligible to go D1 out of high school. Just all from my young boy habits when I was a young boy, thinking that grades ain't matter and stuff like that, carrying that into high school, and you realize it do matter. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would say that, I definitely should have been focused more on grades at a younger age because I definitely learned the hard way why they are important. That's why I'm so adamant on the youngins now, taking grades serious, applying yourself, getting yourself into good study habits, taking your time, researching if you're struggling in class, go ask the teacher for help, do some extra work.
And that's a main key right there, asking for the help because, I was one of those kids or I was one of those students when I had moved from where was we at?
Lincoln Township?
No. Yeah, I was in Lincoln, but remember, I went to Burley's for the whole year. So what happened was I got kicked out of Lincoln and ended up going to Burley's for 6 months. But my mom was like, no, we're going to keep him there. You know what I'm saying? Because if he goes back, he's going to do the same shit. Yeah. Shout out my mama for that. She ended up moving me to Township thinking things were going to change. But when you take those Excel test scores and all that out to Township, completely different curriculum, completely different environment. We're talking about an environment where it's predominantly kids that got,
everything.
The high-end clothes on the chill, though. Like they're rocking clothes that I would wear to try to go to a party and all that. Polo t-shirts and cargo pants from Abercrombie. And they wearing that on the regular, just on some cool shit. So when you're from a poverty level or just seeing from the ghetto or whatever, you go to that environment, it kind of deals with your confidence and
100%.
deals with how you think and like your persona on like how to be approached in a situation like that. So when it came to the teachers, I never really asked for help for real. I ended up failing, and my mom used to always go in there and whip my ass or whatever just for me to get it popping in the classroom, which ended up me being on academic probation. I ended up getting kicked out of township. I did 2 years in an alternative school, came back, and then I had to catch up on all my credits the senior year for me to graduate on time. Horrible experience, but it taught me a lot on the last year. Now, with you, once you got to Lincoln, right? Were you on the team where they went 7-0 or 8-0? I think they was under Coach Gant.
I want to say that was the year before.
Rest in peace, Coach Gant, too.
Fact, shout out Booby, that's my guy.
Out the Coach Gantz led the team in Lincoln at 7-0, and you wasn't a part of that team.
Nope. I want to say that was a year before me or two. I was probably in 6th grade. I want to say 6th grade on that when they was that, because that was with Big Tony and all that, wasn't it?
Yeah, Dom.
Yeah,
Dom was on there. Go-Go.
Yeah, I want to say.
And then was on there.
I want to say I was in 6th. That was a year.
Miles' brother, I think, was on there.
I was supposed to play on Lincoln in 8th.
Julian went to Lincoln?
Yeah, Julian was. Wasn't he? I'm not sure.
I kind of said that not knowing. Yo, Miles, let me know if Julian went to Lincoln and he was on that 7 or 8-0 team that year.
I don't think he was on that team, though.
I'm tripping. Listen, I was never that athlete, so don't judge me when I say shit like that. It is what it is.
But yo, I got to Lincoln, 6th grade, 7th grade. I was on. We was on B team. B team. I was defensive player of the year. First year, second year to get to somebody else. I should have been, but and then I was going to play.
You should have been.
Coach, everybody know that.
What?
That year.
No, I know what
Everybody
happened that year.
Everybody knew what happened, bro.
Clear it up right here.
You don't win defensive player of the year your first year coming on a team and don't win it the second year. Feel me? I'm the best hitter on the team, hardest hitter.
Right.
I've won. You won.
And it's a lot of that in the locker room, especially a lot of competition talk and a lot of friendly competition.
So I'm on the team with Dyer, Markeith, all them. They're a year older than me. So I'm on that team. It's our first year. So it's like me, Julio, X, and we the
shout out X.
We the
Shout
young
out Xavier.
studs coming up. So like we not you play 2 years. Your first year playing B or C, you're not projected to start unless you really ball, unless you're really different. So I think the only 2 starters that year, first year, was me and Julio.
So when you say that example, we know that Deontay Cherry, shout out Cherry, I got love for you, bro. We know Cherry was probably a grade under or whatever, but he was always starting in a grade over. So like when he was in 8th grade, he was balling freshman at McCaskey. I don't know how you made that happen. Is that true?
Yeah, Cherry was nice. Yeah. No, he wasn't 8th balling for 9th. He was 9th on varsity.
Okay.
But he was 8th. Yeah. Cherry was ahead of his game.
Okay. That you would say like the top names in that era would be who? Yeah. He would be on there. Yeah.
Cherry,
who else?
Aaron, Julio.
You?
Me. Calvin was coming along. Calvin was coming along pretty nice. Roman Clay, he didn't start blowing up till high school. He was on the line and we was young boys. He was blocking for us. And then he the all-time leading rusher in the LL, running back. But he was blocking for us. That era was definitely me, Cherry, Julio. The Pinker was on the team, Devon Pinker.
Really, the baller.
Pinker was on
JJ
the squad.
Baller.
Pinker was on the squad.
Shout out to you, bro. I heard you a coach out in Township now for ladies basketball and that. Shout out to you, bro. Don't forget that we did beat y'all at the tournament at the Wide. Burley's cooked y'all because y'all cooked us. I'm going to go ahead and put that up. Y'all cooked us 80 to 30 something, and we came back when it counted and cooked y'all. It was me, Brandon, Keon, Joel Plaza at the time. We came back and we showed who's the better team, and I was locking you up. Oh, man, I was locking you. Oh, man, I remember that time. 8th grade. Yeah. 8th grade. I remember that draw. But anyway, man, shout out to you, bro.
I should have. I was projected to play for Lincoln in 8th grade. I was projected to be like, starting running back and play defense, start defense. And then, I was fighting too much 7th grade. I want to say it was like the 7th, 8th fight.
You was throwing?
Bogue was in the office with me. But that last fight, I fought in the office. Me and Bo was in
Vernon.
Yeah, me and Bo was in lunch detention.
But why was you fighting though?
Bro, you know, motherfuckers try to test you. You know, they try to bully me because I was littler. But
And
I
you
was
was smaller.
You know, I wasn't no punk.
No bullshit though. I ain't gonna lie to you. He lying because one, he had an 8-pack at like 10 years old. In the hood with his shirt off, basketball shorts with a ball fade. And I know because I was around. I was around. I invited them to my true story. I swear to God. I remember this shit like yesterday. We're boxing out front. Hand Avenue got the big yard.
Facts.
Everybody knows this big yard. Nobody was living in this house.
Yeah, nobody.
So the yard was big as shit. So baseball, tackle one, whatever. We would play football in there.
Trampoline in that
That trampoline had been in that joint. So one time, right, there was gloves out and everybody was boxing. I was doing my little thing. I ain't gonna hold you. He wanted to go ahead and box me. You know what I said? I said no. My dad yelling for the fuck you mean you ain't say no. I was like, no, bro. But at the time, like at the time, bro, I'm telling you, I was literally like 60 pounds stick, bro. Seeing him,
Facts.
I was like, yo. But right now, that ain't happening. I got love for you and all that, but no.
Nah, Joe, bro, Joe wasn't allowed out the crib, bro, unless he was with me.
Come
Ty,
on, nigga.
bro.
Hold on.
Joe wasn't allowed off Hand Ave unless it was with me, Ty, or Mario.
For a good reason though.
For a good reason,
For
bro.
a good
I mean,
reason, because
It was-
a lot of people that
was a
were
little,
left,
you mean?
a lot of people that were allowed out ended up doing some stupid shit,
100%,
stealing,
100%,
robbing.
100%.
There was an era at a time where people was just going around hitting
100%
people.
hitting niggas, not
For no reason. And real rap, it was fun at the time, but now when you get older, wiser,
that's messed up,
you're like,
bro.
yo, that's fucked up.
That's
That's
messed up.
somebody's grandmother, grandfather. Not saying they was hitting females and all that, but that's somebody's just loved one.
Nah,
That's
he's
just
right.
minding their business. But growing up, that's how you proved that you wasn't scared of nothing.
exactly.
So you picked the biggest person, and you would ask them for a cigarette or something.
Seriously, yo, we was messed up, bro. Inner city life, bro.
Bro, but that was our fun though.
Yeah.
No game stations,
Yeah, we
no
ain't have a game,
PlayStations,
yeah.
Wii's, and all that because nobody could afford it.
Yep.
And football and those type of activities is what kept everybody
kept
out.
everybody
That's
busy, bro.
That's funny as shit. Now, you ended up getting a name in the football, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you transition from middle school to high school, how important is it to have those types of connections with the coaches, with your stats and all that, so that you could prove what school you was gonna play for at the time? Because from there on, now in my understanding, you're being scouted. I'm not the athlete. That's why I'm asking these questions.
Yep.
So from 9th grade to 12th grade, what you was doing in 7th and 8th grade already circled around, right?
If you making noise, they know about you.
Okay.
If you making noise, they know about you. Especially if you're in the inner city.
Okay.
In that era, you know what I mean? Like the area knew who was nice. Inner city, McCassie, Tornadoes, we was nice.
Yeah.
So like we had guys, bro. So they knew who we was before we even hit high school.
Yeah.
So we had coaches reaching out. You had Township, Hempfield, Central. Oh, what's so and so? Where's he going to high school? You know what I mean?
And everybody wanted to stay at McCaskey because they were comfortable there.
Yeah, but then it didn't work out like that. Everybody split up. I went out to Donegal. Roman went to Catholic. Everybody split up, bro, because, the inner city, it wasn't a place to be at the time. We was trying to get in and get out. You know what I mean? I left the inner city because, bro, we got in too many fights.
Right.
7th grade year, I got fighting in the office, got kicked out. It was like my 8th fight of the year, and it was like 3 weeks left of school. They was like, man, just stay home. I would give him his work, would finish home.
Right.
And then my mom was like, my dad had to talk, was like, look,
I was
we
gonna
keep
say,
Buddy
like-
in the city, bro, he not going to, like, go to be much.
Now, I was going to say, your pops, like, after a while, when it came to, like, telling you over and over authority, did you go to him and be like, but dad, like, they was talking crazy to me first. Like, what you want me to do? And then as a father, he's like, damn, but this is what I taught you to prepare yourself for situations like this. So he doesn't want to backtrack on what he said and discipline you type shit.
When I was getting in fights, I wasn't the instigator. I wasn't the starter. So I wasn't really in trouble.
You wasn't the bully.
I wasn't the bully. You know what I mean? They tried to bully me because I was little, but like I said, it wasn't no punk. So we could rumble right then and there. Like, it wasn't no go outside. I ain't had no rap as a young boy. So it was like we just rumble right here in the office then. You know what I mean? But like you said, my mom and his dad said, somebody touch you, put their hands on you, do what you got to do.
Right.
So I would always tell him, like, hey, you touch me. The one fight my mom witnessed, the young boy touched me like 2-3 times. I told him, yo, don't touch me. touch me again, yo, don't touch me. Third time he touched me, we was rumbling. My mom witnessed it and was like, I seen that boy put his hand on my son 2 times. So whatever comes with it, comes with it.
Right.
So I really never got in trouble at home because of the fights because I never started them.
Right.
You know what I mean? We grumble because you ain't about to do that to me. You know what I mean? And my parents respected it, and I never really got in trouble. It was just the environment.
Right.
You know what I mean? When I went out to, the suburban area, I ain't getting no fights ever again.
So when you went to Donegal and like they had that talk, 'cause I remember when y'all was moving because we were still stuck and everybody's like, yo, like this is Buddy's last time. This
Ain't that shit crazy,
whatever.
bro? That shit's crazy,
you know, you go around to your chick's cribs or whatever, hug them out.
I still remember that, bro. I never forget it.
Damn, man, like whatever. And it was tragic like that because, like I said, MySpace wasn't around. There was no Facebook where you could keep in touch. So the only way we kept in touch, like he said, was going to either pastors or being around or whatever. When they told you was going to Donegal, first of all, how did that Donegal move even come about?
I don't even know how, bro.
Like, what made them be like, we're going to Donegal?
I don't know why they're at all places. I really don't. I think my mom and dad got in a fight, and my mom kicked my dad out, and he had a spot to stay, and I think he was staying up in the Marietta area.
Okay.
Marietta up near like Mount Joy, Maytown.
Okay.
He was up there, staying up there type shit, and obviously they was getting back together. So my dad was like, "Look, I'm up here, so you might as well just come up here. City already bad anyway. Come up here. We just start a whole new life type stuff." So then we went out to Donegal, bro. I moved out there, went up there in the 8th grade. You know what I mean? Like you said, it was a big culture change, bro. We grew up wearing baggy pants, baggy shorts, long sleeves.
Green Dragon sneakers,
you know what I mean?
fitted to the side,
yeah, like you
5XTs.
We wasn't wearing no Hollister and Aeropostale in the city, bro. That's not what we was wearing. So we went out to the burbs, and that's all what they was wearing. So, it was a whole culture shift, everything, bro. You went out there with, a bunch of people you grew up with your whole life, that you can be you, that look like you, and you go out to the burb, and, it's the majority, white people and shit like that, people that aren't used to the struggle, that are kind of entitled-minded,
that look at you differently by just the way,
the way you talk, walk, dress, you know what I mean? So, it was a little uncomfortable up there, but, being an athlete, being a good athlete, you fit right in with anybody.
And you adapted.
You know what I mean? You adapted quick because, you're the best athlete automatically. You're one of the better-known kids and liked kids in the school just because of that. You know what I mean?
So when you went to Donegal, and I guess what, did you go before the football season or was it during that you said, yo, I'll walk on the trial for you right now?
Yeah, summer.
So how did that go?
Summer 8th grade. Summer 8th grade. And I was up there, yo, we got this new kid from the city. I'm doing my thing. I cooking. It was easy. So, I got a name the first week or two. And then it was it's 8th and 9th grade up there. So they do 8th and 9th junior high. So once you, because they didn't do varsity. 9th grade don't play varsity outside of the cities. This is just junior high. So I was in 8th grade playing, it was a scrimmage, broke my wrist up there in the last scrimmage, literally the last play of the game. One of my teammates fell on my wrist and my shit was off the bone, snapped. So I was out that whole 8th grade year. Came back 9th grade year, destined to be the guy. Had a great year. High school talking about me. Up there starting as a sophomore in high school as well. Junior, senior year, dominating, killing it. But yeah, that inner city ball prepared me for that.
For that level of ball.
Yeah,
because that's more like structure.
Yeah, I went up
you know
there,
what I'm saying?
It was easy,
like,
bro. Yeah, it was easy in the burbs.
It was just a natural. Like they didn't have to teach you nothing. You just give him the ball, he gonna do whatever. Yep. All right. So, what year did you have a household name at because you stood Donegal your whole high school career, right?
I want to say people start knowing
because you did track as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Yeah, I was one of the fastest guys in the state too, in the league, in the area as well, not just football. And you can Google everything, bro. I mean, I'm Googleable. Feel me?
Google me.
We can do
Google me. You can look at my stats. You probably still got some records up.
I do. Yeah, I got what? In my high school, I still got about 10 records, 10 school records. I want to say 4 or 5 football, 4 track. I had to go back and look. I don't think nobody touched them yet. But yeah, I got about 9, 10 school records at my school, track and football. Going from the inner city to the burbs, it was pretty easy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Only thing that we had to adjust was the structure and discipline. That was about it. Talent was there, hungerness, drive, all there.
So when you get to the high school fame, and the only reason why I know this is because I was never the athlete, but my friends were athletes. I was always the funny, cool guy that used to be around the chicks and all that. When you got that name, He's a baller, football, track. Oh, Johnny Martin. Who's that? He came from McCaskey. Oh, yeah, what's with the green eyes, light skin, boom, 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 8-pack, whatever. How was it getting that notoriety and just soaking it in? Like, because you then get to a popular stage where everybody knows you.
Yeah.
And then you get into all the parties. And then all the chicks are trying to holler at you. Like, how are you able to just balance that type of notoriety and still be serious when it came to the ball?
Yeah, see, I don't think I had a balance at that age. You know what I mean? That shit consumed me.
And,
You know what I mean? That shit consumed me. Man. Y'all filled my head up too much. Somebody
that head was blown.
You feel me? Somebody should
I'll be hyping shit
me.
too. You walk in, pep rally and all that.
Yeah.
'Cause, you know, they used to say the jersey and the name, and then all the girls would scream, at the pep rally and
you're
shit.
right. You're right.
Oh man.
Nah, you're right. Nah, I just level-headed, bro. All that shit, I let that shit all get to me, and I was a prideful young boy that you couldn't tell nothing. You know what I mean? Because everybody was telling me I was a shit, and I was going to the league, and I was this and that. So you telling a young 17-year-old kid that, you mean, how you expect me to be humble?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I ain't had nobody to humble me. So, you know, I ain't had no balance. I thought I was a shit. You know, nothing could stop me, nothing can touch me. And you know, that's how I thought. That's just how it was. You know what I
Now,
mean?
everything that's high or that's up, unfortunately, has to come down at some time.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
At that time, you was running back.
Yep.
Okay. So the top running backs, if I remember correctly, in the talks to go to the league, was you, Roman Clay. Or when it came to like the known names, the comparisons start to happen, right? Word comes back because, you know, you're in a school and you're not going to hear what's going on in that school until you travel to the other school.
Yep.
And then, you know, cheerleaders on the sidelines and dudes on the sidelines and all that.
Yep.
Especially when it came to school support where, yo, you going to a big rival game? Yeah. And then, you know, that's how fights and all that, arguments from the sideline happen. Were there ever a time where a comparison was made to you that you heard about and you was like, oh, nah, you're crazy. I'm cooking this man. Put him in front of me. I'm cooking him. I'm going to tell you how I'm better. I'm faster. I'm stronger. I'm benching this. I'm squatting this. My 40's this. He's not sticking me. I got better jukes. Like, what was it that?
Yeah, you know, when I left the city, everybody was, you know, Cherry and Roman, that area from the city, because that's really the only ones that was making big names back in, you know, my era of high school, 2010, 11, 12. I can't really name too many, bro, to be honest, that like went Division I that like had offers out of that was like serious. So yeah, they was comparing me, you know, me, Cherry, and Clay. You know, we grew up all together. Yeah. So I mean, we all think we better than one another. That's what we're supposed to think. You know what I mean? But
just friendly competition.
Yeah, friendly competition, bro. You know what I mean? But Cherry was in a different classification than me. He was up in McCaskey 6A. We was down to go 3A. But Roman was at Catholic 2A.
So what's the
so me and
break
Catholic,
that down?
So 6A is the biggest classification in the state.
To get scouted.
Yeah, well, it's just the biggest school, biggest kids in the school, amount of kids in the school. It's not always based off if your team's good or not. But we was 3 because Catholic played Township. Catholic played McCaskey that year, and Catholic 2A beat the 6A McCaskey. So it's not so much about talent. But we actually played Catholic 2 that year, and we lost to them by a touchdown. Roman didn't play that game, but I balled, and I ended up being running back of the year over him. Of the Section 3 running back of the year over him, all state, you know, the whole 9. He was a year under me, you know what I mean? So he was going to win it the following year. You know what I mean? He was running back, all state, you know, all-time leading rusher, you know, D1 going to Kent State, stuff like that. So, you know, it was just a good comparison, but I'll never say that anybody was better than me, especially somebody that blocked for me when I was a young boy. You know what I mean? I was the one always scoring touchdowns. You know what I mean? I've been did it since I was 18. You know what I mean? So it was friendly comp. I think it boosted, you know, whether we were saying it or not, because we didn't really have social media back then like that. It was like just getting
everything
popping.
was off of highlight tapes. It wasn't like just like real videos and all that. You had to create a huddle account and make yourself a highlight tape. And you better make sure the clips that you picked was the toughest clips of the year.
Had to be the toughest clips, bro.
So preparing for that, right? Now that we're talking highlight tapes in that matter, because you had to show your talents out for the scouts, for the coaches and all that. When you ended up getting all these offers, right, did you automatically know what school you was going to when you got that specific offer from a specific school? Like, what was your dedicated school that you wanted to go to?
My dream school was West Virginia. but they ain't never offer. The biggest one I had out of high school, I want to say Liberty, because I wasn't eligible. So
Okay.
I didn't know that until like
The grades.
Yeah, I didn't have the grades to go Division I, so I'm wondering why.
That was the consuming of the notoriety, the females, the parties and shit.
Yeah, just thinking you the shit, thinking that everything's just gonna come just because you're good at football, and that's not the case. You know what I mean? I had to learn the hard way that how you carry yourself, your grades, the whole nine. That do go a long way. You know what I mean? So, I got humbled because I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do out of high school. I had to go to a prep school. So I had like a 2.2 GPA. I want to say you have to have a 2.5 GPA to be eligible to go Division I.
That's what, C+.
Yeah, that's damn near a C. Yeah. So I didn't have the grades that I needed to go to. So a lot of them D1 school wasn't coming in, but I still had some schools. I want to say up the top, it was like Marshall, Liberty. I got a whole bunch of letters at home. A whole box full of
Still.
Yeah, still got a whole
do
box.
you remember those? Like whenever you get into that box and all that, because I do be seeing like when you be coaching your clients or your students at your trainings and all that, where they get their hopes high.
Yeah.
And then you tell them, listen, I've been down that road. Don't believe me? You pop the shoebox and there's all these letters, and then you ended up going to your school, and then something tragic happened to you.
Yeah.
Playing a very severe injury that had happened, ACL, right? If I'm not mistaken.
PCL. Yep. PCL. I was up at Clarion, freshman year, just leaving prep school. I'm 19 years old. My dad had just died in March, and I was up there playing in August. We was playing against Cal U. It was I want to say my 5th, 6th game as a true freshman up at Clarion. I was projected to start because our running back got hurt the previous week, so I was like starting as a true freshman, which is it's rare to do out of high school, bro. Many freshmen don't play.
And your thing was like, this is my chance, to show my showcase.
Yeah, yep. So it was like, I was balling, eating, threw a screen pass. I never forget it. Lineman in front of me. As soon as I push him out the way, guy coming straight for my knee. Boom, flip me, PCL tear, out for the year. You know what I mean? And that was no joke. That was probably like one of the worst down parts of my life. 2013, I want to say. 2013, probably the worst year of my life, just because I lost my dad to cancer in March, and then tore my knee in October. You know what I mean? So in a matter of a year,
it was just too many events that was hitting you at one time, and it was hard for you to
deal with it, adjust to it,
you know what I mean? Or adapt to what was going on.
Exactly.
Now, when it came to those moments of high school stardom, I would assume your pops was your number one supporter at the thing.
Yep. Yeah, pops, moms and pops. My mom and dad got in a big fight when I was in high school. So my dad wasn't really around senior year of high school. He just wasn't. So it was really my mom, for real, that was always there. Like in the senior year pick, my dad, it was my mom and her husband. My dad wasn't even there type shit. You know what I mean? So,
and her husband, as in? Dan.
Yep, Dan LeBoon. So Dan was there in the pick. So my senior night, it was me and Dan. My dad wasn't even there. You know what I mean? So
was that the anger that you had when it came to the disconnect on those types of moments?
Yeah, I would say that. Like my pops and mom started going through it. I want to say when I was a junior. What was I? I was a junior, sophomore in high school. My mom and them kind of split up. I ain't talked to my dad for like 2 years.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and that's when I was down prep school, and that's when they was telling me.
And then that's when Dan started coming around, and you started grabbing a relationship with Dan because he's showing up more now as the father figure or whatever at the time.
100%.
So, if you don't feel like touching on this topic, because I know it could get really emotional and really sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Did you have that anger towards your mom when she brought around Dan?
Yeah, 100%. I ain't fuck with none of them. I ain't even want to talk to boy, meet boy, none of that for like a year.
Because you're like, yo, I got a dad.
Yeah,
like, why don't you make it work with my dad?
Yeah, I told my mom, boy, better not come around. Better not see him. And yeah, he ain't come around for like a year. Not around me, my siblings, none of that. You know what I mean? Because she respected I was a young, irate man that, dad wasn't around, shit like that. You know what I mean? She respected that. He respected that. So yeah, at first it wasn't, peaches and cream, because like you said, I got my dad here, bro. Like, what you around for? You know what I mean? Then until when my dad died, then, obviously a lot of shit changed. Not just for me, but for my siblings.
He wasn't allowed around.
Yeah, well, my dad was an alcoholic, bro. So like, you mean he was probably just in his bag. You know what I mean? My mom split up. He was an alcoholic, bro. So my dad was drinking like a case a day, like a natty light. However much coming a case. How many beers is that, bro? He was probably down
24,
like,
36,
yeah, he's probably
whatever.
down to like 24 pack every day.
Now,
bro.
was that off of like just self depression,
Yeah,
self emotions
yeah.
that he couldn't handle?
I think my dad was just going
and
through a whole bunch of shit.
he wasn't vocal with you about
Yeah,
it.
you know, I was a young boy, so I didn't really know what was going on. You know what I mean?
Because that mental health is a real deal,
Yeah.
especially when you're leading on to
100%.
that. Especially when you could stop a habit that
Yeah.
ends up turning something deadly. Now, I'm not saying that the alcohol is what killed him or
Nah,
created
definitely
cancer.
It was.
For real.
Yeah,
I
alcohol
don't
every
know.
day?
I don't
Yes.
know.
You drink a case every day for like 20 years, bro, you're going to die. It dehydrates your body. Like, what did he die? He died from pancreatic cancer, which is like one of the worst cancers you can possibly get. And it's because your body's dehydrated. No minerals, no vitamins, no nothing.
Okay.
Just flooding himself with
I didn't know
liquor,
that. So,
you know what I mean?
I apologize for bringing that
Big
up.
deal.
You know what I'm saying?
We'll be here, baby. No big deal.
Anyway, so Dan came around, senior
Yep.
night, everything's cool.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You got that call, unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
And did you still like have some type of resentment because of the situation?
Yeah, it definitely taught me to like, cause I ain't talked to him for like 2 years, and then I started talking to him recently because, you know, he was going to die type stuff, and it just taught me not to hold grudges towards people. You know what I mean? Like you grow up with your dad, your best friend, your whole life, and then he magically died. You don't talk to him for 2 weeks, and then he dead. You know what I mean? That'll teach you not to that, you know, life's short, not to hold grudges on people because you might never see him again. You know what I mean? So it definitely taught me some valuable lessons. And it definitely made me like mad and irate with the world. You know, I felt like I was cheated out. Like, damn, why I had to go. That's when I needed the most in my life. I was 19, 20, trying to go down the pro path, you know, transferring colleges. I didn't really have no guidance, nobody telling me what I'm doing, what I should do.
And for the father figure that was there showing you what to do
exactly.
for
As
the
a young
moment
boy.
for the moment like this to happen.
Exactly. For a
You see
moment
what
like
I'm
this to
saying?
happen, you're not even around.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what advice do you have for like whoever's watching this who's going through maybe a relationship issue with their father, with their mother, whatever? Like what advice do you have for
Honestly,
them
bro,
so that they could overcome
if you're
that?
not talking to your mom or dad, bro, and you just on some grudge pride shit, bro, you gotta swallow that pride and grudge and just if your mom or dad alive, bro, you gotta try and have a relationship and talk to them. You know what I mean? Whether my mom did this, my dad did, man, so what? You got a mom and dad. You know what I mean? So I would say just to try to, you know, you can solve anything, you know, in this world, whatever problem it is, through talking. You can't solve death. When somebody dead, it's over with. You know what I mean? So
Right.
if somebody got a problem, somebody's mad, bro, you can always talk that out and overcome it, you know, and be cool again. But you can't do that if the person not here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It took me a while where so for the people that don't know, my mom and dad now aren't really my biological parents. They adopted me. They're really my aunt and uncle. So through your teenage years, you know, my mom would try to force that relationship for me to talk to my mom, to talk to my dad. And I used to be like, no, they not my parents. Y'all my parents. I said the right thing because that's what I went through.
Yep.
But now that I'm older, and especially now that I got kids,
Exactly.
right? I didn't want to hold that grudge where they don't even get to experience their grandkids at all. And like you said, life is short. So if it's something that you could just put in the back burner and think about, you know what, maybe certain things happen for the right reasons because you wouldn't be where you're at now if it didn't happen.
100%.
You know, go ahead, make that call. Stop waiting on people to get a hold of you. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're one of those that you're always making the call and the behavior doesn't change, sometimes you got to step back
100%,
and love from a distance.
Yep.
So college happened. You fell into depression, injury. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, your pops. He passed away. Everything that goes down bounces back up.
Facts.
Talk to me. What gassed you up to go up?
So yeah, like you mean, I ended up transferring. I was at Clarendon, ended up transferring a bunch of schools, trying to find my home again, trying to find my niche after I tore my knee. I ended up my last year at Millersville, switching positions to receiver. Kind of new to it, didn't really know what I was doing, didn't really like understand it, didn't really play too much, bro. To be honest, at Millersville like I wanted to.
And you was chasing sports, but with sports, what was your major? Like as far as degree and all that?
I was in communications, public relations, communications, and I had a minor in athletic coaching.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I honestly still got to go back and get my degree, bro, and I'm going to do it because I started it and I gotta finish it. So I literally just have a minor. Literally, bro, I just got 6 credits, 2 classes, and I'm BSing, but I'm busy. I literally just go back and take my minor class final and my major class final, and that's it. So it's literally just 2 classes, bro.
Okay.
So, and I do that, and I get my bachelor's degree from Millersville University. But I do need to go back and complete that just so I can say, everything you start, finish.
Right. Now that, and your point when you're saying that, it's more so like you say, you started something, you have to finish it.
Finish it.
All right. But in today's society, in order for you to be successful, they treat it as in you have to go to college, you got to get a degree so that you could go ahead and get the job. But then at the job that you're at, you're paying back this degree for damn near how long? It's somewhat of a scam.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
You see what I'm saying? So with you though, you ended up doing sorry about that, bro. That's actually Mario. You ended up going to Millersville, playing a sport or whatever. What stopped you from completing that major?
Trying to go pro. Trying to go the pro route.
Okay.
Trying to be a professional athlete, trying to get to the league. I went down to the spring league down in Texas for a week, against some NFL top free agents in the country, try to get a name down there, talk to some NFL teams, AFL teams, Arena League, XFL teams. Was going to go overseas to go play over in like a Germany league, the GFL and stuff like that. And then, I had my first son in college. You know what I mean? Before the season even started, my first son was born.
Oh, shit.
So, and then
shout out to the young boy too, man. I see him right there grinding with you and all that, man. I mean, you set an example with the weights. So
I had my son, and my son wasn't really stopping me from not going overseas. But then my daughter came, I want to say 11 months later, and that's when I kind of was like, it's not really realistic to lead a country and, not be making millions like I thought I would and try to act like I could support my family from across the country on some like few thousand a month. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? I was kind of like a standstill because my whole life I thought I was going to be in the NFL.
You had that mindset. I'm going to make these M's. I'm going to make these M's.
Had no other, like, it wasn't no backup plan for me. So when you asked me what else I want to do if I didn't make it, I was like, I don't know. So I was actually put in that predicament. Well, shit, I ain't make it. What am I doing now? I'm 25, 26. What am I going to do now? You know what I mean?
And that's and in that age, bro, fresh out of high school at 18, 19, you don't know what you want to do unless you was trained like you from a kid to at that moment. And then unfortunately he had some tragic events that happened, injury, passing of his pops and all that ended up, delaying or stalling his progression going through that. If you was to do it where none of that happened, let's say, how quick you would have went pro?
Like if my pops and shit ain't died.
If you didn't go through the depression, you had the grades, the leg wasn't messed up.
I would probably have been like 3 years in college.
22, you would have been in there.
22, I'd have been in the league, bro. I'd have been. If I had my grades right, my pops ain't died, I would have been in the league. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I had the talent. It just
circumstances.
That's what people understand. It's not so much talent. It's about the team that's around you, your support system. Because when you do hit rock bottom, how do you think?
Right.
Does the people around you still believe you can make it? Because that's going to play a big role in what you think. Because that's going to influence you and if you can do it or not. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. I would say if I actually got good grades, I would have been at a better college, which would have put me on a bigger stage to exemplify my talent on a higher level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, yeah. If my dad didn't die, he would have been there and guided me. And me not trying to transfer schools just based off what I feel, based off pride as a young kid.
Yeah. So after MU, when did you find this escape of therapy, of relief, of happiness?
Yeah.
When it came into, because you're religious as well. Sometimes the religious stuff that you post or whatever, because you got freedom of speech, some people might find it intimidating. Might find it, how you say it, what do you say when you forced for them to follow a certain thing. And shout out to all religions. You believe in what you believe in. Shout out to y'all. Did you feel as though if there was a relief of pressure and some type of, love, it's on the bottle, some type of pressure and hope and faith and all that when you started learning more about the actual truth and what you was implying?
Yeah. So, you know, the Lord, I found the Lord when I was about 19, 20, when I was at prep school. And that definitely, like, opened up doors for me and made me realize, like, you know, what I used to serve myself, you know, in high school, you know, fame, pride. And then once I found the Lord, you know, I kind of was like, it made me unselfish. You know, it gave me a bigger perspective, something more out of life other than myself and trying to, you know, go pro. And this is around the time where I'm losing my dad. So at the same time I'm losing my dad, I'm getting closer with the Lord type stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just learning, you know, a whole bunch of stuff in the world that, you know, that was told to us when we was kids that just ain't true. So, you know, I kind of reshaped my perception of how I viewed the world. Yeah. Just because, you know, I was given new information.
Yeah. And with that information, you ended up eating better. You ended up taking activities more serious 100%. As far as your health, 100%. Your mental health. Yep. And then you ended up getting into this workout regimen or this physique that you got that I known you had since you were like 7, 8 years old. So when did you realize that, you know what, training is for me and I can, with what I know I could dish it out to the people? When did that click for you?
Honestly, when the people supported me like how they did, you know what I mean? I remember when I first jumped in trying to be a trainer, I remember still texting Ty, like, yo, bro, I'm like, because Ty was starting his business, concrete joint. So, you know,
around
Ty
the same time.
Yeah, so Ty was like, you know, Ty was going the business route. So he was inspiring me. He was like, I was like, yo, I'm about to just do the training joint, bro. Like, but I was scared I wasn't going to be nobody. You know what I mean? Like, that was a fear at first. Like, yo, what if nobody come? Like, you know what I mean? They won't be doing, I don't know what I'm going to do, bro. And then he was like, bro, just do the joint, bro. And I was like, you know, I just did it, bro. And I think I started realizing, like, once the kids start gravitating to me, and like it just came natural. Everything came so natural.
I think what helped you out more was you utilizing the social media space into releasing what you were providing with your program. A lot of people hop on social media and tend to just use it for the wrong reasons. They trying to find out who's fucking who, who's beefing with what, instead of just trying to grow a business or 100%. Just, you know, just show the realities of life. You know, when it comes to like their kids, or it wasn't always how lit they are and what vacation you at and all that. Just offer the image of social media. You showed, you know, your trials and your tribulations on there, and I think that's what actually helped you gravitate 100%. To the young minds.
100%.
Now, was it harder to convince the parents that you were the right trainer for when it came to the kids?
See, I don't think I had to do no convincing. I think they just showed up, seen what it was about, and was like, okay, yeah, we want to stay with this guy. Because I was authentic. You know what I mean? That's my name, Authentic Martin. I don't sugarcoat it. I'm real. You know, I care about the kids. They know that. I put a lot of time in. So, you know, at that point, it was word of the mouth. It was like, you know, hey, this kid really cares. Just about, you can tell by the way he talks to him, how much time he puts in. He checks on him outside of sports.
Yeah, and everything that you're explaining, like, there's evidence behind it. Yeah. So it wasn't like a gimmick of trainers where they be like, oh, come mess with me in the 6 or 8 week program, I'll get you like this.
Yeah, 100%.
You're showing video proof. Yep. I actually learned GOTA from just listening to your page and like your videos and all that, because I'm a supporter of what you do. You see what I'm saying? So when you started breaking down on the way you train will transition to the way you move, and the way you move will transition to the way that you play, or the way that you show results on the field, or whatever it is that you're doing. When did you know that Unleash was gonna blow?
Honestly, I didn't know, for real. It just kind of happened. Like, I didn't know. I didn't have no, like, real big goal when I became a trainer. It was just like,
you just wanted like 2 clients.
I just wanted to help the young boys out, bro. I just wanted to help, like, young boys go pro and just go big time. You know what I mean? It kind of turned into something bigger and more, and then I just kept getting more and more and more and more, and I was like, oh my goodness, all right, so what we gonna do now? We're gonna shift what I actually wanted to do. You know what I mean? Because you have a plan at first, but you ain't thinking that big because you ain't think you're gonna be that big.
Right.
You know what
and
I mean?
You're probably going to be the biggest thing in your family anyway, because there's some first-generation high
100%.
school graduates. There's
100%.
some first-generation college graduates. And there's first-generation athletes where they're actually going to go and actually go pro and 100%. All that. So how did you end up linking with Team Beast Mode, Chegg?
Honestly,
shout out to him.
Yeah.
Your interview's coming soon, by the way. I ain't forget about you.
I was down there When I first started training, I was over at DDG, Derek Gardner spot, over by underneath the bridge right there.
Behind, yeah, that's the spot where I went.
Yep.
When I first went, and then
Yep.
I went for like 2 weeks. I stopped. My schedule got in the mix. I ain't gonna lie to you. I couldn't even pick up a 45-pound bar. Remember that, Joe? You had to throw it over your head. I couldn't even do that, bro. At the time. Now I'm throwing whatever.
Bang.
Not whatever, but I'm throwing over at least 100 over my head, bro. But anyway, so yeah, I remember that little spot behind there. Now, when it comes to training, do you feel as though there's animosity when there's other trainers seeing what you're doing, and then they start to think that I should be getting that type of clientele?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
do you feel as though, do they talk shit? Do they try to badmouth to other people? And then with the support that you got, I know they're always defending you.
Yeah, you know how it be, bro. And that's in anything, bro. Whether you're a chef, you're a cook, you're an athlete. I think anybody that's in your field is always going to be some type of competition. You know what I mean? Or somebody that think they better or deserve more. But I'm a person of action. You know what I mean? If you were better, and if you were supposed to have more, well, then you would be.
You
know what
would've.
I mean? You would have. You know what I mean? I'm a person that, you know, I think the cream eventually rises to the top. So if you meant to be the best, then the people you're training, you know,
Will vouch.
Yeah, will vouch. You know, your name, your image, all that is going to be backed up by the people supporting you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know, and at the beginning when I first became a business owner, you know me, I'm chippy, so I like to go at it. But
you tend to learn to just sit
yeah,
back and let the results play.
At that point, bro, I'm 6 years in, so it's like I don't gotta
Explain yourself.
explain myself. I don't gotta try to prove myself. I don't gotta do none of that. You know what I mean? I'm already established. I got 6 years of proof. I am the proof as well. You know what I mean? You can look at me. I can still do it at the highest level. So you know, the talking stuff kind of just got annoying because like nobody was gonna do anything. I'm calling cats out. Nobody's with any type of smoke. So at that point, I realized I'm in my own lane for real, and nobody can really cross over unless I let them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, who am I talking to for real? I'm in battle with myself because nobody else is like me.
Now, when you're talking about calling out people, because if y'all follow Mr. Johnnie Martin here, he says it. Whoever wants it, come see me. Field, boxing ring, track.
Yep.
Jumps, burpees, pull-ups,
Yep.
muscle-ups.
Yep.
Come see me. Let's do it.
Yep.
One person that I will give compliments to, and he's the only one that I know that stepped to you, Rel.
Yeah, bro, that's my guy.
Shout out to Rel.
Rel, the only one. That's why I love Rel, bro. The only guy, you know, I talking that shit. He like, what's up? I'm like, all right, what's up? And then we go at it.
With Rel.
That's what's fun.
Okay, with Rel and how y'all have fun because it's a brotherly competition between y'all two.
Yep.
How long you guys have been going
Me
at
and-
it,
me
and
and-
who wins
me
more,
and-
who loses
See,
more?
me and Rel played on Millersville together.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So we was on the same team last year at college. So, you know, but we always knew of each other because we grew up in the LL League in the area.
Yeah.
So I knew of him because he was pretty good in high school. He knew of me, obviously. So like we didn't ever think we were gonna be on the same team in college, and we was, and we ended up becoming cool, working out all the time, hanging out together all the time. And yeah, bro, we just built that bond, bro. We just became cool, understood each other. You know, he a dog, I'm a dog. He don't back down, I don't back down.
Shout out to him. Good spirited person, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
When I was training with you a couple months ago, and sometimes you won't be there because you have some situations. You'll send me the workout or whatever. He would come over and you know what I'm saying? He'll put me on to certain things like, yo, bro, like what you're focusing on. I said, bro, I'm trying to get the bench up. Well, bro, do dumbbells, 45-degree joints. You know what I'm saying? Push it up like that. Push-ups. Do a lot of push-ups to get that push momentum out. That way it builds your chest when you're laying down on that bench. Also, he was showing me a couple things, man. I probably joined like one day. I said, fuck it, let me do what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And then it was a good workout. So shout out to Rel, man. I got nothing but love for you. Got nothing bad to say about you at all. Back to you though. When you went to Team Beast Mode, you're buzzing.
Yeah.
You got everybody wanting to go in there, from kids to college, to collegiate, to semi-pro, to pro athlete, to whatever. When you was determining the prices as far as your programs, right? Was there strategic reason on why it was a little bit cheaper for the city kids around the area?
Yeah,
because like
yeah, I'm like we talked about earlier, bro. We ain't got it like that in the inner city. You know what I mean? So I wasn't about to be a trainer in the inner city and then train like I'm training suburban kids that got money. You know what I mean?
Right.
So my prices was definitely considerate to my personnel and to the setting I'm at. You know what I mean? So I knew like the parents, they struggling to pay bills in the inner city. That's why you in the inner city. You know what I mean? It's cheaper housing, cheaper living because you're not making that much. So I ain't trying to kill nobody's pocket.
And that was your way of saying thank you for even training with
100%.
me.
That's because it's bigger than money with me. I'm here to actually help the city, actually help the development of the kids. It's bigger than that. So I didn't want you to go broke or feel like, dang, man, this is taking a lot out of my pocket just to pay Johnnie.
And it forces them to not even want to chase it
me?
anymore
Exactly.
because their parents not willing to invest.
Exactly. They got to keep hearing, well, I'm paying $200. You better be doing. You know what I mean? So it's like I made them kind of reasonable pricing, cheaper than most because I'm not in it for the money. You know what I mean? I'm in it to really make an impact. I believe that you make an impact and then the income comes. A lot of people chase income over impact and the income eventually dies down. You know what I mean? As long as you got impact, your income will always come. You know what I mean? So I chose impact first, and that'll always just keep your income flowing naturally. You know what I mean? I don't got to burn nobody's pockets. It's reasonable, fair price, and, everybody wins, bro. Everybody wins.
All right, before we head on out of here, since we was going ahead and talking about you love the development of the kids, you want to give back to the kids and everything like that. I've seen recently, matter of fact, a couple months ago, you were given the opportunity of becoming a sports athletic director. Am I right?
Strength conditioning coach.
Spring conditions coach. My bad.
Yep.
For McCaskey. Tell me that procedure, process. How were you able to even have that door of opportunity open? For you?
Shout out McCaskey, man. Everybody over there affiliated, T-Asia, the new AD and whatnot. She brought me over. She was just around seeing how around my business, seeing how I deal with the kids, talk to the kids, stuff like that. She's building a new, it's a new era coming to the city and to the school. So she wanted me to be a part of it because, again, she saw how I was with the kids, and it was bigger than just going through a workout. You know what I mean? We're dealing with inner city kids, so you got to know how to talk to them, how to guide them, so on and so forth.
And some people, some of the kids won't even listen to somebody that never went through it. 100%. They're gonna be like, "Who the hell is you?"
100%.
When, bro, you don't know what I'm going through, and the real reason why I'm on this 100%. Field, or the real reason why I'm in this weight room.
Yep.
Gonna look at you as if like you got no relation to me, or whatever. Did you feel any type of? Because I'm assuming there was more candidates on the table.
Yeah.
Was there more pressure? Were there people with a bigger resume when it came into that type of profession? When it came to the conditioning and all that, like the accolades and that played a part.
Yeah, I don't know if there was too many people bigger than me.
Because you're probably the youngest one doing it.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
They're mainly older or whatever. So
100%. I would say
you got that already over your head.
Yep.
He's a young guy. He hasn't been in this experience before.
100%.
You know what I mean? So like, how did that work?
I think I was probably the most qualified. I wouldn't say just like degree wise, but like I'm hands on. 6 years in, so it's like that says a lot. I think that somebody that can uphold a business for 6 years is more qualified than somebody that just got a college degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you got the experience.
You showed
it's
you
like
do it.
It's like when you get your college degree, you apply for a job. They be like, "Well, you
Exactly.
need 4 years of experience."
Yes.
Well, I got a degree. But you got no time.
Exactly, bro.
Okay.
So I think I was the most qualified just because I think I was the only one running the business at the rate that I'm running it at. I'm not just running a regular business, bro. We training the best kids in the area. We probably got the most athletes in the program, and we training and we putting in the most time.
And it's crazy because when you're in that position, you have the ability to grasp the attention of other students from different schools that already was trying to convince a certain student to come.
Yep.
And they're like, we're going to go with Johnnie.
Yeah.
And then with Johnny's program, all right, we're going to go to McCaskey. So you're also bringing in the talent
100%.
outside of
100%.
Lancaster.
Yep.
Talking the whole 717 area.
Yes. Yep.
Philly. I seen you have a couple Philly clients as well, too.
Yep, there's guys that be coming down from Philly. Yep.
So
shout out my Philly cats. I got York, Harrisburg, the whole 717, bro. Whole 717, we around here. just try and push the kids, bro. That's what it's about, competition. I try to tell them you're not trying to compete with guys that you grew up with. You're trying to compete with everybody outside the city, outside the area. So I try to just kind of convince them to get up with other guys around the area that's good to help push you to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what it's about, bro. Just trying to mentor the kids, guide them. It's bigger than just the physical working out. It's a mindset to it. It's a discipline to it. It's just the way you got to move in life.
How's the job treating you so far?
The McCaskey job?
Yes.
I like it, bro. I love it. I just like being around.
You've been there for a couple months now, right?
Yeah, I want to say I've been there since November.
Oh, wow.
Since November, I want to say. And we about to start the summer schedule, so we going about 3-4 times a week. Volleyball, basketball, football, the whole nine.
Is that where y'all do the 2 or 3 a days during the summer?
That's my business. But for McCaskey, we gonna go one a day.
Okay.
One a day, but we going multiple sessions a week.
Okay.
So I think most teams are coming at least 2 times a week.
Because I know you're gonna be in this summer, man. See,
Yeah.
y'all thought
Yeah,
the work was
summer-
over, huh?
Yeah, summer gonna be crazy.
You want to be eating all these cakes at McDonald's and shit, thinking it's over. No, the work starts now.
Facts.
You
Yep.
feel me?
Yep.
It doesn't start when the season starts. No, you
100%.
got to put the work in off season.
Yep,
You feel
100%.
me? And I think you have what your biggest, I would say, strength that you have. You can control the room. I can control the room by when I speak.
Yeah.
You can control the room by how you speak, but you have that aura of grasping the attention of, yo, listen, when I'm talking, y'all quiet down.
Yeah.
Y'all look at me, whatever. And some of the social media promos that you do with the adjustable mic or whatever on your, it shows.
Yeah.
Because they all, when you're speaking, they're locked in with what you're saying because they truly believe in what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I've been in that gym where the parents are in the back, like, nodding their head, agreeing with you with what you're saying to the kids, and you even put it on the parents' plate as well.
100%. Yeah.
You put it on the parents' plate as well. Like, don't be enabling these kids.
Yeah, I try to. It's real out here. Like we try to keep. It's family, so you should be able to talk to family how you should be able to talk to family, knowing that it's love. You know what I mean? So I tell the parents like, hey, man, look, don't be enabling your young boy trying to do everything for him. Like, let him figure it out sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just part of being a good parent, but also part of just letting your young boy mess up.
Okay.
That's okay. So I'll be on the parents' butt just as much as I'll be on the kids' butt.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's just as important at home than it is on anything else, bro. So I make sure you're eating good. Hey, make sure you sleep. Hey, make sure you're on the game all the time. All right, Johnny. You know what I mean? The parents be listening too, bro. Not just a kid. You know what I mean? So I just, you know how it is, bro. You know how it is. So I just be trying to inform the parents so we on the same page. Me and the parents on the same page. Yo, I said not to eat that. Yo, mom, you said it too, right? Oh, all right. So look, me, mom, everybody said not to eat it.
Even
so
with the parents, they're actually they're transparent with you as far as like the grades and how they're acting and all that. And then you adjust the workout just for that person. Like, all right, you want to have a F and whatever, well, you got to do this.
Yeah, it's real.
And all that.
Yeah, it's a real program, real development. So we checking on the grades. We checking at home behavior. I check in with the parents every week, make sure they doing their chores, making sure, yo, he's talking back. I got to do anything to him? Nah, we good. Just making sure that, yo, we on you if you
just showing them that uncle love.
Yeah,
like
you know how it is,
that
bro.
growing up, you didn't have
checking
around.
you. We there to check you. A lot of these young boys, they need checked. They need somebody to be on them all the time or they're going to keep messing up.
Yeah.
So, just show that reinforcement because, mom and dad say it all the time, it's mom and dad.
Yeah.
And then we got somebody outside the home that's reinforcing the same thing. Then, it's like, damn, I'm getting hit from all angles.
Okay.
Coach trainer saying it, coach saying it, mom, dad saying it.
Another thing that I want to go ahead and commend you on before we get up out of here is that you keep it realistic when it comes to the kids that are going through that high school to college phase. Because like you said, you get the high hopes of, I'm going to go to the league. I got these offers. I got this. I got that. And then there's times where you break it down when you're huddling with them at the end of your workouts. You say, hey, listen, like, there is a reality here. Some of y'all might make it to the league. Is there a chance that you can make it to the league? Absolutely. Is it guaranteed? No. But it all starts in this gym. It also starts at home, and it also starts at the schools. Putting that work in.
100%.
Any advice that you got to give to the kids? Any shout outs that you want to give out to anybody? Whatever. Before we get up out of here, because this was a beautiful long interview. I thought I was gonna have you for an hour. We're almost at an hour and a half. That's my fault though too. Bro. I ain't gonna cap.
That's lit.
But it flowed, and I just want everybody to know that he don't have this type of access with everybody. So I just wanted to, make it worthwhile.
100%.
Because I know there's people that want to know the story, and there's people that want to know the goal and the plan that you got
100%.
with your business.
Yep.
Any shout outs, any love, advice,
shout out my
whatever.
man Joey, bro. Keep following the Yellow Cord, bro. Supporting, bro. Good peoples in the city, bro. Grew up in the city, well known in the city, respectable. Shout out to, the youngins in the city, man. People that actually, support me. All my supporters outside of the city, in the city. Shout out to McCaskey. Shout out to Team Beast Mode, Chegg, and anybody else that's just really, boots on the ground, in the field. That's really actually helping the kids, helping the development, whether it's sports, mentorship, school, helping with jobs, grades, whatever it is, man. I'm all about building up the youth any way we can, because the youth is the future, and if we care about the future, then we care and pour into the youth.
So what's the plan?
The plan is to, hopefully.
Because I know with the whole McCaskey thing going on, I know you're focusing on that, shaping that era, that culture. Down at what's the plan with that?
So the plan, get McCaskey back on top. Get McCaskey back to the, the powerhouse that it once was in all sports. Track still taking over. Coach Jennings cooking, killing it over in track. Now we just got to get the basketball team lined up. Salisbury got the head coach job. Kenny got the girls coach job. Millie got the football job.
By the way, all people that went to McCaskey too is playing a role 100%. When it comes to the sport. 100%. So that's what's up. That's love with that. So I ain't gonna hold you up, bro. I appreciate you for coming. If you haven't, please like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, go ahead, feel free to share it. I know there's gonna be a lot of people that see certain clips with this that when I make the reels, they're gonna share it absolutely. So, bro, I appreciate you so much for doing this with me. Kept your word. Told you if I get 500 and whatever, you be right here.
Yes,
so
sir.
And we did it at a beautiful spot, man.
Perfect.
We did it at the ward where it first all started at, man.
100%.
It started off raining and now it ended up shining. Ain't
nice
that some
out.
shit, man?
Definitely nice out.
But yeah, man. If you haven't, go ahead, follow the page. Any business promo, any commercial promo, feel free to hit the DM. I'm talking about if you do clothing, if you do athletics, if you do music, anything business related that you're trying to get some exposure on, this is the platform for you. Hit me with a DM. We'll hit you with a rate for the upcoming episode so that you could secure your slot. A lot of people have been showing me love on that, so I appreciate that, man. But go ahead and add at TheYellowCord on Instagram to check out Johnny's new episode, and feel free to subscribe on the YouTube, bro. We're going ahead and get up out of here. 1.